Hello, and welcome to Mind and Money Show, where we talk all things mindset, money management, and our entrepreneurial journey. Along the way, we're going to throw in some amazing guests for good measure. I'm Shane Highland.
I'm Gareth Shears. This show is going to change your life and teach you skills that school never taught you.
Boom.
Back to the Wild West days of financial services.
Isn't it funny?
Not for us.
What we're going to chat about, we've recorded a couple of YouTube videos prior to this, and all of a sudden then something comes up to talk about, as you say, the Wild West days.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's actually come from a very well-respected colleague in London, actually, Mr. Alan Smith. He put something on Twitter. I can't remember what it was exactly, but it was something about pension B, wasn't it?
Yes.
I actually quote what he said, which I shall do now. So this is in relation to a letter which Pension B provide. With some providers, some older pensions may have exit fees or special benefits, such as guaranteed annuity rates, protected tax-free cash. In general, these occur in less than 2% of pensions, and exit fees for over 55s are capped at 1% of the pension value. We give customers the option to waive checking for exit fees and valuable benefit. This means that we won't check with your provider on either of these things. We can also help you speed things up. Absolutely brilliant.
Shame on you, Pension B. Shame on you.
I'm sure didn't you say the FCA potentially quoted these guys as being people to?
I think initially they were kind of seen as the gold standard bearers, weren't they, of kind of DIY pension stuff? But come on, guys,
Because these benefits can be quite important, because I have seen, there are some pensions out there with huge tax-free cash elements to it. I've seen ones in excess of 50% of the pension value of tax-free cash. I've got some now actually kind of knocking around, whereby the client, they're kind of stuck there. You're never going to move them from there because they're tax-free cash. The tax-free cash usually, or standard, is 25% of the pension fund value. There's a different calculation for defined benefit pensions. We're not talking about those. So your normal defined contribution pensions, or your personal pension SIPs, whatever you want to call them, will have a 25% tax-free cash benefit. But if they were pre-A day pensions, we won't go into that in depth, we'll do that another one, there was the potential that they had a higher tax-free cash, or a guaranteed annuity rate, which is guaranteed income for the rest of your life, which could have been really good as well. There's a few different kind of things in there, and albeit they may say that's 2%. I'd love to know where they got a stat from. But that's your proper Wild West stuff. We'll just transfer it. You do whatever you want. We don't worry about it. Well, you should worry about it, because that's where you should take financial advice. But good old Pension B, don't have to worry about that, because they're a non-advice service. So Pension B can't deal with final salary pensions, just to kind of caveat that one. They can only deal with defined contribution pensions, but some of these old defined contribution pensions do have these benefits in them, which some of them really good. I mean, don't get it, some of them rubbish, but they are there. But you need to take advice on it, because Pension B are not going to do that. And you could be giving up a hugely valuable benefit. And, there could be some in there which may have, I'm not sure whether this will actually be, but they may have lower retirement ages in them. Yeah, there's a good chance
some may have.
Some may have. But generally it's going to be enhanced tax-free cash, guaranteed annuity rates. And, the guaranteed annuity rates are kind of missed, but there have been some quite phenomenally large ones out there. But you've got to take advice. Even if you don't want to kind of go down that route, you need to take advice.
I suppose you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't know you're giving up something, you'll never know that you had it, which is kind of fair enough. But isn't that the whole concept of that, of find out what you actually have before you make a life-changing decision on something that is going to impact for the rest of your living days on this planet? And it doesn't take that. It doesn't. I think this organisation, the wording almost seemed to be, we'll rush it through. We don't need to. You don't need to waste time doing it. It's only going to take an extra 3 to 5 weeks to get the information. 3 to 5 weeks to make a decision which could impact you for the next 2, 3, or even 4 decades. So, when you put that into context, 5 weeks out of 40 years is not that long extra just to make sure that what you're giving up is okay with you. It's that analogy, isn't it? Is it measure twice, cut once? Once you've made that decision, there's no going back.
Yeah, because the cynic in me says the pension just don't care. All they're about is amassing as much funds under management as they possibly can to make themselves viable for a sale and exit, to sell to a larger company, and an exit, because they're expensive. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure they're minimum of 0.7, I think, kind of ongoing for their funds, but most of this stuff's trackers, it looks like. So they're making a nice little profit on everyone, and they're just going to be getting, probably millions of pounds each day, week. I don't know what the kind of figures are for what's going on there, but like I say, it's the Wild West. I mean, I thought kind of days of that type of stuff had kind of gone, but I guess when you're in the realm of non-advised, and I guess it's a bit of a grey area, they can do really what they want. But to actually be saying, we'll waive all these, and we won't actually, if you choose to waive it, we won't even tell you about them. That's a bit worrying. Well, not a bit worrying, very worrying, really.
Shame on you, Pension B. Shame on you.
But they don't care. Like I say, they're all just about amassing as much assets as fast as they can. And I've actually seen a few people who run money websites, and one actually is a former financial advisor. I say that in the loosest sense of the term, because there's a lot of people out there on social media who say they used to be financial advisors, and just because you did the qualifications and worked for a bank once, not given advice, doesn't mean you're a financial planner and have actually ever advised a client properly. We still advise clients. We run a chartered financial planning firm, so we kind of know what it's like at the coalface doing it. But I've seen people actually advertising Pension B as these are the guys to go to. I'm inclined to say they're probably on a referral scheme. They get a bit of a kickback. So, we're not any referral schemes.
In a nice way, calling these people out and, telling people it's not right that we seem to be... I think people make classes as disruptors, which ties in nicely with last week. We got nominated for the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, isn't it? As Disruptors of the Year.
There we go. So we're obviously disrupting something.
We're disrupting something. So the continued calling out will still go on.
Yeah, but we're not calling people out for reasons apart from the fact that it's just not right, and people need to know that. The public need to know. Do you know what I mean? The financial services is a bad enough name anyway, and companies like that who seem to be like the knight in shining armour are not really. It's all just rogues. Do you know what I mean? It's exploiting people's urgency needs and the fact that they're advertised everywhere and everyone thinks they've got a good name, but actually, if you scratch under the surface, I think they're doing people a disservice. Don't get me wrong, there'd be a lot of people who probably sort them out and done quite well, but there's more options out there.
I suppose it just goes to show, or just confirms, before you do anything in any aspect of life, just get a second opinion on it. DIY in all aspects, of boiler servicing to electricians to building a wall to finances. You can do everything yourself by YouTubing it and Googling it. But that's not necessarily the correct way to do it. And who says that someone that says something on any sort of social media is correct? Get the correct information from somebody in this aspect, finance, that has the relevant qualifications, insurance, and indemnity to give and back themselves in terms of the information that they're giving to be correct before you make any life-changing decisions on money which have an impact on your financial health, your happiness, and the future you.
Yeah. It all comes back to the mate down the pub who knows everything. You know, the plumber who's also a qualified GP, helicopter pilot, financial advisor, you name it, landscape gardener. You know, she's done it all. You know what I mean, they're the ones you got to watch out for, because they reckon they know everything. But you know, you don't go to a GP and ask them how to fix your boiler or your fence, do you? So you go to the professionals who've got the qualification that we're doing. You know, we've been doing this collectively for
a long time. That's
in excess of 30 years.
Probably, yeah.
I think it is.
Wow.
So I kind of think we kind of know what we're doing, but we're always learning. But yeah, so I think that's it. Pension B, shame on you.
Measure twice, cut once.
Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe and remember to follow us on social media for more